Hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Come on in, come on in. I hope y'all are excited about tonight. We're going to give y'all some time to come on in tonight. Go ahead and share the broadcast and tag 4 people because tonight we are going to really be dropping gems. And you want to make sure that you are present. You want to make sure that you have paper and pen and notebooks and all of that so that you can take notes. You all, I am Coach Tamara Lachey with Increase Global Enterprises. This is where we bring business to reality through graphic design, brand strategy and development, business strategy and development, coaching, and client representation. Tonight is the decade of the coaches. We have some amazing coaches tuning in. And so, what I want you to do is go ahead and share the broadcast. That's what we're doing right now because we want to make sure that you get all that you're going to get because we are in a season right now where it's important that you choose you. It's important that you decide to win for you because at the end of the day, I want you to understand something. You can do a lot of things if you put your mind to it, but sometimes you got to decide to say, you know what? I put everybody before me, but now I need to put
Mhm.
myself first. All right. So while y'all are sharing the broadcast, we're going to start with Coach, Prophetic Coach TK, then Coach Raymond, and then Coach Rashin to introduce yourself.
Well, good evening, everybody. It is your girl, Coach TK. I'm your prophetic breakthrough strategist. I am the founder and owner of Minding My Vision LLC, where we bridge the gap between biblical principles and counseling theories to bring accelerated breakthrough, transformation, and growth. So I am a licensed clinical therapist as well as a transformation coach.
Hello, everyone. My name is Coach Raymond Poole, where I am the founder of Raymond Poole Coaching and Consultant, and where we change people's lives out of one stage into another stage. And what we bring to you is we change the game. We get you motivated, we get you hyped up, and we change your life. And we do all of that with coaching with Raymond Poole.
Hi, everybody. My name is Coach Rasheen Akins. I am the founder of MVP, Men with Vision and Purpose. Our mission is to take men and help them get back to their rightful place, help them to be productive people and productive leaders in society, and let them know that there is greatness on the inside of them. They just need to tap into it and let it flourish.
Awesome. So, y'all, we're going to go ahead and dive in here. We're going to go ahead and get started. So, the topic is choose you and win. And so, I'm going to actually start by just asking a question and you all just flow. When did you make a decision in your life to actually choose you and you actually begin to see the results and the transition to that greater place in your life?
I'll go first. For me, it was close to 2 years ago. Um, I just decided that um, it's time to do what I was sent here to do, what I believe I was called and sent here to do. Um, Basically, I've already been doing it just on a lower level. Um, had people asking me questions. Well, how come you're not doing this? How come you're not doing that? You know, you're a big encouragement, or you help me out so much with this. I'm a barber by trade, so you know the barber gets all the information, gets all the, everybody talks to me. So not only am I cutting hair, but I'm counseling. Not only am I cutting hair, but I'm giving advice. So, I felt that God said that it is time for me to step into a different arena as far as like helping men. And he dropped in my spirit MVP, Men with Vision and Purpose. So also, I'm an author, I'm a published author, and I have a book called The King Inside the Peasant. So, encouraging everyone that there is greatness on the inside of you. You just need to find out what that greatness is, find out where you fit in this place called life, nurture your gift, nurture your talents, and let God use you. You don't have it, you have it for a reason. And so, after beating myself up, because I'm seeing things happen on a low scale, and people saying that I've helped them. It's like God's like, well, what are you doing, bro? You're you're just sitting there twiddling your thumbs when you can be doing so much more and doing so many greater things. And so I just decided, about going on 2 years now, just to answer the call and say, okay, Lord, I need you to help me because I don't know what I'm doing. I know, so show me where to go, show me who to talk to, show me who to connect with. And, he's been blessing ever since.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
You want to go, Coach Raymond? You can go.
Well, I can. It doesn't matter. Well, I actually chose roughly around the same time he chose, about 2 years ago. Don't know why it took me so long, because being in ministry 30 plus years, traveling extensively throughout the United States, ministering and prophesying to people, helping people, just from children to adults, and seeing people going through life difficulties, seeing leaders go through different things. And so just through prayer and through fasting, God just laid upon my heart just become a coach. And so when I got into it, I didn't really know what I was doing when it came to the coaching part, but through the help of Coach Tamara, she pulled a lot of things that out of me that, I knew was there, but wasn't operating in it, as far as the coaching realm. But here it is now. When I look back at, I made the best decision that I could have made in my life to become a coach, because it had opened up so many different avenues for me. And even in the process of how we view and look at a lot of different things in our life today. And one of my main strengths is leaders, because everything that I've done as far as work, I've always been a leader. I've always been, even when I was in law enforcement, I went from, just from the bottom all the way to supervising, sergeant, lieutenant, then working on special operation, extensive training. And then, when you apply all of that with ministry, and then now being with Amazon 10 years, actually I started from the bottom, and now here it is. I'm a area manager. So, just everything has fell in line with what God has lined me up to do.
That's good.
Okay, I guess it's me now, right? So I got my y'all, I'm silly, I'm goofy. Coach Tamara know that about me. But if I'm honest, I started as a therapist. That's where I started. That's my vein, that's my specialization. Trauma specialist, burnout, compassion, fatigue, depression, anxiety, mood disorders. That's my thing. But it was during COVID, actually. It was a time when my uncle had just been murdered the year before that. And then I had a couple clients pass away from drug overdoses. And it was like everything was hitting back to back to back. And I would be at home. I was at home. I was washing my dishes, y'all. And I collapsed. I passed out. My aunt was there. She was like, "You all right?" I'm like, "I'm good." I go to sleep, and I kept having these cardiac episodes. I'm driving to my doctor's office. Like, if I could just get to my doctor's office, let me just get through the night, and then the baby, get her to school, and then I go to the doctor's office, and then I'm good. I'm doing a single mama thing. But I get to my doctor's office, and I almost passed out. Like, I could feel myself like passing out as I'm trying to park my car. And the Holy Spirit was like, "Get to the hospital," because the hospital was literally right up the road. So I get to the hospital. I'm there. I walk up. I'm telling them I'm having these episodes. They take my blood pressure. I was at a stroke level, y'all. Walking around, not feeling nothing, absolutely fine. In my mind. And they're like, "Oh, well, you're not going home." I said, "Hold on, ma'am. I'm going home. It just may not be today, but I'm going home." And so while I was there, this is what did it for me. I was laying in the hospital. I was laying in my hospital bed. And the Lord says to me, "All right, TK, are you done living everybody else's vision and version of you?" Excuse me, sir? huh? And I didn't realize that I was literally living the way in which people were placing it on me. They were saying, "Oh, this is what you should do, and this is what you're called to do, and this is what," and I was literally living my life that way. And it was in that moment, hooked up to all of these cardiac machines and all of this stuff, I said, I'm done. I'm choosing me for the first time. Because if something had happened where I died, my job would be grief because we were tight knit. They would be sad. They would be upset. But they would hire somebody else real quick because they still have to run a business.
Yes.
And then I got COVID right after that from being in the hospital. I ended up getting COVID, and I got OG COVID, like the OG when it was first happening. And I said, Lord, all right, you ain't got to do nothing else.
Yeah.
I promise you, I'm going to do it. And so I've been in business for myself since then. I gradually came out of my working a 9-to-5, and I've been in business for myself since 2020.
This is good. I love it. For me, I would definitely say that I think I've gone through several episodes of choosing myself, right? I believe that if you're a natural giver, and it's not just finances, but it can be your time, your gift, and things like that, you can be pulled on consistently. And I was a person where if I gave you my all, I gave you my all, and I kind of abandoned myself, right? And so I would say about 3 years ago, I made a decision to choose me for in different aspects, because I actually had an encounter with the Holy Spirit, and the Holy Spirit was literally like, "You're smart, right?" And it goes back to Proverbs for me, right? Because the Holy Spirit, you're smart. Well, you can't be that smart, because if you were that smart, then you'll be where it is that you really want to be. So I'm going to need you to do something different, right? And that was like a hard pill to swallow. Like, yeah, you're smart, but you're not that smart, right? And so I literally made a decision to say, okay, I'm going to try something different. And that's when I ended up investing in 5 millionaire coaches. And the first thing that I did was work on my actual physical. So I started to work out. And I started to work out at 5 a.m. in the morning, right? And working out at 5 a.m. in the morning, it seemed like I had more time in a day, right? And it changed my focus, because it's so easy to get off track. It's so easy to get pulled this way, pulled that way. So when I started the process of working out at 5 a.m., I was actually waking up at 4 a.m. because I would leave my house at 4:30. And on that, during that process, I began to speak affirmation. So for about 20 minutes, I'm driving and I'm speaking the I ams, and I'm speaking over my life, and I'm decreeing and declaring all these things. And then from there, layers begin to peel off of me. And I realized that my missing piece was actually making up in my mind that I had to go through a season of being selfish. That was something that I did not want to do, because I was taught being selfish is not pleasing to God, is not the way to go. But then I learned that being selfish was the only way that I could help the people that I wanted to help. I was trying to help people, but I wasn't allowing myself to become. I wasn't allowing myself to evolve. And so the truth be told, a lot of times our biggest downfall is we don't take a season of our life where we actually concentrate on the betterment of our life so that we can pour into others from another level, because we're not supposed to stay on the same level. We're supposed to go to higher levels. But if we don't take out time to ourselves, and this is the thing, many people take out time to go on sabbaticals, but going on sabbaticals has nothing to do with actually working on yourself. Going on a sabbatical has a lot to do with hearing from God, hearing instructions, but sometimes we miss it then because the instructions may be get up at 4 o'clock in the morning and like, oh, I don't think I heard that. No, I ain't gonna do that. And we make all these decisions, and God is saying, what did you say that you wanted? What did you say that you wanted for your life? You said a multitude, and then don't go into the prophetic, y'all, where people have prophesied over your life and said that you were going to talk to the nations, you were going to be impactful to the nations, and you're sitting there like, I got the gift, but nothing is moving, nothing is happening for me. And the entire time we think it's God, but it's us, right? It's us. And so when you talk about choosing yourself, you're not choosing what you want to choose. You're choosing what you don't want to choose. And I said this on my live last night. I said, when you pray for certain things, when you're praying for millions, when you're praying for overflow, when you're praying for greater, what you're really praying for is, I need a transformation. You need to deny your flesh. And that is what it takes to choose you. You have to be willing to deny your current state, who you currently are. And I'm gonna let y'all flow from there because y'all already know how to do it.
Oh, you know, I'm sitting on my hands already.
Okay, so I wasn't going to say this at first, but let me give you some backdrop. As I said, I'm a barber by trade. Before I came back to barbering full time, because at one point in time I got burnt out. Then I got a job at a concrete factory, underpaid, not appreciated, frustrated. It got to the point where I was just so disgusted with the job. I was just like, yeah, something needs to change. I need something different. So I remember one Sunday I was at a church and I was preaching at this church. And the message was, what is that in your hand? When God asked Moses, what was that in his hand? It's a rod. Basically, what God was saying to Moses, you have everything that you need to do what I told you to go do. So that's Sunday. Monday, I call out of work. I'm laying in bed all day. I'm watching YouTube videos, trying to figure out what's my next move. I don't want to be here anymore. Saw a video of a gentleman talking about small business, and then he made a statement about his sister being a hairdresser, and that's a good business to be in. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and go back into barbering. Now, prior to that, I'm laying there. I see this video. I turn the video off. I'm laying there. I'm looking at a preacher on TV, and you know how they'll show what's going to happen next after the commercial break. The bishop said, and God told Moses, what is that in your hand? And so I was like, okay, Lord, I hear you. It still didn't really move. Got a phone call maybe like half an hour later. The guy that actually mentored me into barbering say, hey, man, listen, we got an open chair down here. I just want to know if you still want to be in this barbering game. Hadn't talked to him, God was just sending me message after message, clue after clue. So long story short, I went back and I was there for a year. And then I got a word from a prophet that I'm going to have my own establishment. Here I am in this establishment. But that was just preparing me for what I'm doing, what I'm about to do right now, because now I have the same feeling here that I had when I was leaving the job to transition into this. I feel the same way now. I'm not satisfied anymore. There's something greater out there, God. What is it? So I know God was using that situation to get me to the next level. And now that I'm here, he's basically saying, okay, you're pretty much outgrowing where you are right now. So there's a place that I want to take you. So when you said that, Tamara, it reminded me of the whole backdrop of how I got to where I am now. And there's no satisfaction. There's no rest. There's just, I'm here. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, because if a man doesn't work, he doesn't eat. But then there's just something boiling and burning on the inside of me. There's more. There's something greater, and I gotta tap into that so I can be who he, in the totality of who he called me to be. I'm some of it. Like David, he got anointed king over Judah at first, but that wasn't what God said was going to happen. He said, you're going to be king over all of Israel. And so I want to walk in the fullness of the word that was spoken over my life. I want to walk in the fullness of what I was sent here to do. And so now I'm choosing me. I'm so busy doing for others. I get phone calls every day. I get text messages every day. Can you do this? Can you do that? Can I have this? And now it's time for me to set all of that aside and choose me, because if I keep doing that, I'm going to drain myself and I won't have anything in me left to do what he called me to do.
Right.
Yeah. To your point, Coach Rashan, I talk about boundaries
Mm.
a lot with the clients that I serve. And sometimes we go through so much that we just don't have boundaries.
Mm.
And so we will overextend ourselves. We will give and give and give and give because we've been taught for whatever reason, right? Whatever your reason is, right? That I'm supposed to just give. And the Lord literally had to sit me down and he said, didn't I go away to hear what my Father was saying? And that meant that I had to be away from everybody else.
Mm.
I couldn't be distracted by the noise of the people around me. So even Jesus had boundaries.
Mm.
And so it was like, it was this, be quiet sometimes. Sit still with yourself. Come to know the real you, not the you that's been showing up, but the real you. And you can't do that because you got too many people around you, too many people in your ear, too many people trying to talk to you and tell you who you're supposed to be.
Mm.
And now we're sitting here. So then we end up sitting here like, well, who am I? What am I supposed to be doing? Who am I called to do? What am I called to do? And we can be sitting there with literally millions of dollars worth of ideas in our brain and in our hands, and we won't move on it because we don't really know who we are. We start to tell ourselves we're not capable. We're not worthy of it. I can't do this, right? Because it's a part of the system, the language system that you have been inundated in.
Mm.
You've been baptized in, you've been taught, you've been spoken over, right? You heard it growing up. This is what you heard. This is how the people around you talk. And so sometimes that selfishness it really is me pulling out. I have to come out from among y'all because you don't have the capacity. And I had to learn it like this. The Lord told it to me like, y'all know, my glasses coming off. It's getting real. I had to learn it like this. Some people just don't have capacity for where I'm going.
Exactly.
That's it.
And sometimes I don't have capacity for where I'm going. Now, let's talk about me first. I didn't have capacity for where the Lord was calling me. I was working my job. I was doing great. Like I was amazing. Like Coach Raymond, I had, excel, got to certain levels. And it was just like, it's gotta be more to this than this.
Mm-hmm.
But when he started telling me about the more, it's like, Lord, you sure this is for me? And so we start going on fast and we start doing all of these things, but we don't implement what we're hearing because we just simply don't have the capacity. And so then he's downloading, y'all just go with me for a minute. He's giving you gallon size. He's giving you gallon size downloads, but you're trying to pour a gallon into a Dixie cup. Make it make sense.
Come on.
It doesn't. So I have to then have capacity to not only, because it's not just about walking in it. I got to be able to carry this mantle. I have to be able to carry because I have the capacity. I've done the work. I've stretched. I've grown. And I've become the woman. I've become the man that can hold all of that, sustain all of it. But I can't do it if I don't know who I am. I can't do it if I'm still reaching at people to give me identity. I can't do it if I don't go to God, if I'm not listening, if I don't attune my ear to hear him, because guess what? He knows me best. Because he exists in eternity. So any revelation, oh my God, any revelation that I get comes from eternity. So it already is and already was and already will be. So anything he tells me about myself is already set in stone. But I have to do the work. I have to realize and do that introspection like you did, sitting there, like, okay, Lord, what we doing? I hear you, but how? Show me the connections. Show me the right people to talk to. Because if we're honest, a lot of people don't even want to be connected to people because of what they've been through.
Right.
Good.
So if we're not willing to deal with our stuff, we can get the instructions and revelations and downloads all day. But if my emotional maturity is not where it needs to be, I'm going to still miss the mark.
Yeah. And also location.
Yeah.
You got to be where you need to be able to produce what you're supposed to produce. A lot of times we can get a feeling of big fish in small pond. And God has to let you know that you're not in the place to where it's conducive for you to bear the fruit. This ground ain't good for you to sow into. And a lot of times we want God to do what we want him to do, where we want him to do it. But like he told Abram, he tells you to just walk and go to a place that I'm going to show you. And a lot of times when we stay connected to places, people, and things that we shouldn't be connected to in certain seasons of our lives, big fish, small pond, he has to bring a separation. And once that separation happens, Abram, then he'll show you what you were standing on the whole time. He was on the promised land already, had been there, left, came back. So we have to be willing to and sensitive and have the faith to hear what he's saying. And a lot of times what he's saying is not comfortable because it takes us out of our comfort zone.
Yes.
And that's a lot of our problem as well. Okay, God, I want to do what you call me to do, but on my terms. I want to be this millionaire, this great person, but on my terms. And no, you have to get uncomfortable. You have to step out of the boat. You have to be willing to walk on something that you ain't supposed to be walking on. You know, so when I think about that, I was like, okay, God, I know what you want me to do. I need you to show me how you want me to do it. And I need you to show me where you want me to do it, because it's not always where you think it's going to be. And so the location is key. God, show me where you want me to go. By faith, we have to walk. I always tell people, let God lead you blind. Because a blind person, when you lead them, they're dependent on your direction. So we have to be dependent on God's direction when it's a sensitive time in our lives right now, because it's pivotal. It's very important that we listen to what he's saying right now, and not necessarily even what we're saying ourselves, because sometimes we can self-sabotage. You know, we can talk ourselves out of doing what we're supposed to do. We can talk ourselves out of a person because we can't fathom the things that he has in store for us. He knows the thoughts that he thinks towards us, thoughts of peace and not of evil, to give us an expected end. His expected end is far greater than what we expect of ourselves. So we have to be willing to, like you said, Coach TK, to separate ourselves, bring ourselves to separation, choose us, be selfish in certain seasons, and get everything that we're supposed to get. Because like you said, Coach Tamara, we can't help anybody until we help ourselves. I could want to give you $1 million, but if I hadn't made it myself, it's just a thought. It's just, it's just an idea. So I feel like location as well is a very pivotal and very important piece of the puzzle, because God needs to be able to trust you to do what he tells you to do, even when you don't understand it. I'm a Marine Corps. I'm a Marine. We don't always have time to ask questions about what the orders are. We just got to move when they tell us to move, because it's very important. Because if we don't move, it could be the difference between life and death. It's the same thing with God. He tells you to move, you have to move, because if you don't move in this little window, you might miss an opportunity, or you might miss a season to be able to produce what he wants you to produce. All right, I'm talking too much. You go ahead.
Go ahead, Coach Ramon.
Well, when people say, I saw one comment say self-sabotaging. Why are you self-sabotaging yourself? What do you see in the mirror? And I tell people, the person that you see in the mirror, the way you sabotage yourself, that person you see every morning, if you can't tell that person that you see every morning when you get up and look in that person, if you can't tell that person that you love yourself, it's something wrong, because if you love what you see. So if you love what you see, you're going to do better. You're not going to sabotage yourself.
Yeah.
You're going to be able to encourage that person. You're going to be able to tell that person, hey, we're going to make it. We're going to succeed in everything that we set out to do. I'm not saying it's going to happen so fast, because of the simple fact, you have to go through some things.
Yeah.
You have to go through some things in order to learn some things. You're going to see, we have been programmed for so many years that, it's quick fix. No, it's not a quick fix. You got to go through the process. It's a process. God takes us through a process. Sometimes the process is not easy as other people. We've heard so many quick schemes that now I feel like God is really getting his people attention, because of the simple fact, even during the pandemic, God had to really get a lot of people attention, because of the simple fact we were falling so far away from God. Now God is pulling people back close to him. God is uncovering. He's revealing things now so fast to let people know that I am God. and I will not have no other God before me. I won't have no anything else. And what we have failed to realize this day and time is what God has actually said in his word. God said, I'm a jealous God.
Mm.
Right.
I'm a jealous God. We put so many things before God, not realizing how jealous he was.
Mm.
Just think about how many things we put before God in times past.
Right.
We put houses, we put people, we put cars, we put money, we put so many things before God. And God is saying, you still need me.
Mm-hmm.
Because he said in his word, he said, those that worship me must worship me in spirit first,
That's it.
be in truth. A lot of people don't want to worship him in spirit. They just want the truth. They want the truth. But you got to bring the Spirit of God in order for the Spirit of God to come in and move on the process that you need him to move on. I'm done.
This is good. It's good because the thing, and I'm so glad you brought that up, because when it comes to choosing you, a lot of times it's easier to choose everything else before you. So it's
Yes.
easier to choose the house. It's easier to say what kind of car you want to drive. It's easier to say all of those different things. And the fact of the matter is, this is the thing: when you choose you, right, you are only choosing you for transformation.
Yes.
Not choosing you, because I'm it, right? No,
Yeah.
choosing you because you have finally come to a place in your life where you are ready to confess. And you're ready
Yes.
to confess that you have been in the way. You're ready to confess that you've been blocking you. And so during this process, even with the person that talked about self-sabotage, I say it all the time. Between the ages of 1 and 7 is when the subconscious is established. And so whatever you were exposed to, that's what's actually sabotaging you. So there's a battle going on. You know what you want out of life, but now you're battling with things that you can't even remember. You don't know why you keep rejecting yourself, but you may have been exposed to rejection between the ages of 1 to 7. And so when you decide to choose you, you're actually getting in the boxing ring. You're not getting in the boxing ring with the devil. You're getting in the boxing ring with your reflection. That's who you're
Yes.
in the boxing ring with. And you got to now acknowledge, man, I don't like the way I look. I don't like the way I operate. I don't like the way I do life, because I know it's more in me. I know I'm carrying the light. I know I'm gifted. And the word of the Lord says that my gift will make room for me, but they're not making room for me because I'm in the way. Me. And if I sit here and I continue to blame and blame and blame and blame everybody else except myself, I can never choose me. Once you decide to choose yourself, you finally decide to point the finger back at you and say, you know what? I went through what I went through growing up, but that's not the reason I'm where I'm at. I'm where I am right now because of me. And if I want where I am right now to change, I have to transform. I have to literally say to myself, girl, you're going to have to change. Stop doing this. Stop doing that. You're too comfortable. Being comfortable is the reason you're where you are. You got to get uncomfortable. Is it going to hurt? It is going to hurt, but it's going to be worth it. And you got to make up in your mind and say, I'm tired. I confess I am tired. It's my fault. It's my fault. I stayed in the desert. I stayed in poverty. I stayed in bondage. I did that. And so it's my fault. But now I want something greater. How many of you want something greater? Put it in the chat. Share the broadcast. Tag 4 people. Because there's somebody that you know that, guess what? They need to choose themselves now, because 2025 is their multi-million-dollar year. 2025 is their year of great health. 2025 is their year of multiple 6 figures. 2025 is the year that they finally love themselves. And so they need to know the importance of choosing yourself. And I believe that when you walk in your gift, you're not walking in your gift in perfection, by the way. So it's not about everything being perfect. No, you're going to make mistakes. You're gonna fall, fumble a little bit. All of that's going to happen, but it's going to be in that process that you learn you. See, I don't know about you, but I need to know that I'm a person that stop and start, or start and stop. I need to know that I'm a person that I'll give it everything I got, and then I'll take my foot off the gas. I need to know that I'm a person that will pass it to somebody else when it gets overwhelming. I need to know that I'm afraid of success.
Mhm.
And in order for me to know these things, I got to choose myself and get in position and look and face the facts. I got the gift, but the real problem is it ain't the gift. It's the person that got the gift, and that's me.
Mm-hmm.
And I pass the mic.
Listen, I'm sorry. Because as you know, we were talking about this a little bit earlier, because that was me. I was that person. I start and stop. I get to a certain point and it'd be like, oh, this is too much, Lord, this wasn't me. And I didn't realize that my greatest enemy was my inner me. My greatest enemy was my inner me. The me that needed to heal, the me that needed to develop, the me that needed to go through that transformation process. And I literally had to sit with the Lord, and the Lord had to show me. He said, you know what? Part of the reason that you've been struggling so much, Takira, is because you made your intellect an idol. Mm-hmm. You made how you think an idol.
Come on.
And you began to trust more in your intellect than you did with me. And so then he started talking to me. This was a word that I got today. He said, my pastor was preaching yesterday, and the Lord gave me back in October. He said November would be a month of miracles. You would see miracles with healing, miracles of deliverance, miracles in nature, miracles of restoration and reconciliation. November would be a month of miracles. But then he told me to go and start studying it, right? So I'm looking at it, and we get to, he tells me to go look at Lazarus. And y'all, the reason Jesus wept was because he loved Lazarus. But he said, Takira, many people are getting ready to go back and show me where they buried it. Where did you bury your dreams? Where did you bury your promise? Where did you bury that part of you that you didn't think was going to be worth healing? Where did you go and bury her? Where did you go and bury him? Because the Lord is saying it's time for you to go back with him. Because when he asked them that, he asked Mary and Martha that with intention. Because he was going back with them to raise up for the glory of God to be displayed. Mm. There's a glory that is on the inside of you that it's time to birth. But if you don't know the real you, it's going to be hard to do that. Mm. You got to go back. And when I was thinking about it, he said, go back and show me where you buried it. That means we got to confront some stuff, y'all. Yeah. We got to go back and look at that stuff. Not for the purpose of staying stuck. You've been stuck already. You might as well go back and look at it. For restoration, you might as well go back and look at it. For healing, you might as well go back and look at it. Why? Somebody got to win. It might as well be me. Mm-hmm. Somebody got to do it. It might as well be me. But we can't get to that if we're not willing to see ourselves, to look at us in the mirror and see what our faults, our deficits are. Because we can't heal what we don't choose to reveal. If we want to keep it hidden, how is it supposed to heal? If we want to keep it hidden and swept under the rug and not dealing with it, how are we supposed to move to that next level? That's why it's millions of dollars on the table, but you just looking at it. That's like Coach Tamara literally giving me a blueprint, and she did, and I didn't do it at first, but she gave me a blueprint. I didn't do it, and then I got mad at myself. I said, I can't even be mad at her. I'm mad at me because I didn't do it, because I wasn't willing to invest fully. I was willing to give her my money, but I wasn't willing to invest in myself. That became a problem for me. And so I had to go back and look at where I buried my dreams and look at it. And I had to pick up my shovel, dig that thing back up. And I asked the Lord to then, he's like, okay, I don't care how long you buried it. Because they was like, oh, Lazarus been dead for 4 days. He stank. He don't smell good. He don't smell right. And the Lord's like, I don't care how long it was buried. I said, come forth.
That's it.
Because it's still about the restoration. It's still about you becoming all that God, the greatest glory that you will ever give God is when you become who he says that you are without apologizing. I don't apologize for being who God called me to be no more.
That's it.
But I had to put in the work and invest in myself.
Let me piggyback off of that. First, the scripture says, except the Lord build a house, they labor in vain that build it. This is the first house you got to build. You need to build it with him. Back to Lazarus, he said, show me where you have laid him. Show me where you've laid the thing that you thought was dead, but it's not dead. It's just sleeping. You think it's over for you. You think you can never be the business owner. You think you can never be this great man or woman, but that part of you is just sleeping. And Jesus is saying, show me where you have laid it. Then when they showed him, he said, roll the stone away.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of things that you have to roll away, stony things that you have to roll away. Sometimes it may be a heart issue. You got to allow God to turn the stony heart into a heart of flesh. Let that get healed from that. Work on you with things like that, because you can never go forward until you're fully equipped to do what God calls you to do. When he says roll the stone away, then he calls Lazarus forth. Then after he calls Lazarus forth, he says, loose him and let him go. Yep. And now Lazarus is freed and he's moving. So there are some things that God is doing in your lives right now. You don't even realize it. He's rolling some stones away. He's calling some things forth that you thought were dead, but they were just sleeping. And then he's going to allow them to be loosed and let go. And then you're going to catapult right to where you need to be, because God is the type of God that redeems the time. He restores the cankerworm and the palmer worm and the locust and the caterpillars have eaten up. What you thought that you can never walk into, God is going to speed up some time for you, because a lot of us are behind. A lot of us are behind time because we didn't do it the proper channels. We didn't work on us. We didn't move when he told us to move. So now this is a season where some things have to be accelerated, because this is the perfect time for God to do what he needs to do in his people in this season. We are called not just for us. We are going to be millionaires, not just for us, but there are some things that we are called to do in the kingdom of God, that God needs us to have these resources, that God needs us to be the people that he has called us to be. And we have to put ourselves in position to be able to do it.
This is good. This is really, really good. This is good because I seen where someone said, I think my healing will come from cutting off folks that wants to remind me of who I used to be. That's hard because I love them, but that may be where my birth happens. For that, I'm gonna say this: when you choose yourself, I think a lot of times we kind of, especially women, I've learned that men don't really think like women, and women don't really think like men. Okay, so women tend to think about the future instead of the moment, and men tend to think about the moment instead of the future. And so I'm going to say this: you're thinking about something that happens later instead of thinking about right now. See, right now you just need to choose you, and you ain't gonna have to let go of nobody. They're gonna fall off. They're gonna fall off, and you ain't got to worry about it. When God used Moses to take the Israelites out of Egypt, Moses, all he had to do was get them out of Egypt and follow the instructions of God. And the people that fell off, fell off. He didn't have to say, you got to go, you got to go, you got to go. They just fell off through the process. But if you're thinking about, okay, who do I have to cut off? The truth is, you don't know who you have to cut off. You don't know, because you don't know who's going to see you evolve. You don't know who's going to see you grow, and they decide to do the same thing, and they're actually going with you. You don't know that. But when you think about the moment, okay, I'm going to choose me. I'm going to do what's best for me. I'm going to allow these layers to get peeled off of me. Worrying about who's going to leave your life, that is not a concern at all. Who's going to leave? You're going to ready when they leave. It's going to make sense when they leave. You're not going to feel hurt when they leave, because it's going to be God doing the dismissal. He's going to be the one disconnecting because you decided to finally choose you. So yeah.
And then no, don't even pray, God, who you want. No. Just do you. Just do you. That's all you got to do. Just do you. You don't have to pray. Because a lot of us, we make the mistake, oh, I'm going to pray and see who God. No, just do you. And God, you'll slowly see people fading away from you. You'll slowly see your phone freer. You'll slowly see peace and things coming in order for you when you just doing you. You'll get a peace of mind with you just doing you. You'll get more understanding of where you are to go, where you are to be. When you just do you, it's all right. It's all right to do you sometimes.
Mhm.
You got to take that me time. Because even when Jesus got away, he had to get some me time. He had to get away from the disciples. He had to get some time away from people. Sometimes you just got time away from people, time away from family members, time away from the job, time away from children. You got to get you some me time. It's okay. Just like the old folks would say, still away. Still away. You're going to be all right.
I love it.
The separation is going to happen regardless, because
Yeah.
you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. Lot and Abram never had a beef, but a separation happened. He caused the beef with the herdsmen, and they came to an understanding that we can't dwell in the same place. We're both two great people. And sometimes it's not that the person that you need to separate from is bad, or the separation from you is bad. It's just that you're two great nations, you're two great people, and you need your own space to do your thing. And so, God won't he won't allow any contention or anything, but he'll make a way for the separation to be a peaceful separation.
Yes.
Go do your thing over here, I'll go do my thing over here, and it won't be any problems. And even with your enemies, you don't have to try to separate from all your enemies, because the scripture needs to have space to make a table before you in the presence of your enemies.
Yeah.
So they need to bear witness of what he's doing in your life as well. So as long as you're doing what you're supposed to do, how you're supposed to do it, everything will fall into place the way it's supposed to fall into place. Some people get away from you because your spirits just don't agree with each other.
Yes.
Some people get away from you because what you're doing is so great, it exposes what they're not doing. So
Yes.
some people just get away from you just because you're not on that level that you used to be on, and they want to keep you at this level, but God is elevating you to this level. And so because they don't want to come up to this level, they'd rather get away from you because they don't, and some don't know how to operate at that level because God is taking you there. He didn't say he was taking them there. So separation is not always the answer. I have people around me right now. I don't trust them as far as I can throw them, but I don't mistreat them. I don't,
Yes.
I don't cast them off. I do what I can for them. But at the same time, I understand that they can't go with me on the next level. And it's not that I won't take them. It's just that they won't be capable or able to go with me on the next level. In war times, there are certain people that go to the battle. Then there's certain people that you got to leave behind with the supplies, because they're either too weak, they're too scared, or they just aren't equipped to go into this next battle. So you have to leave them there and let them play a part, but it won't be the part that you're playing. You're playing a great part, but they'll have a little role, but it's still a role nonetheless. So you got to let God balance those things out. You got to let him sort out who needs to be with you and who doesn't.
That's good.
And I think it all goes back to, in terms of that, it's about the capacities of the people around you, right? It's like, again, if I have a water bottle, like a big water bottle, and a coffee cup, you got enough. You have the capacity for me to put enough in here in this water bottle. Hold on, y'all. Okay, don't judge me. It's my water bottle, and then I got this little bottle right here because I'm about to do. I'm illustrative, y'all. That's how I learned. So I hope this helps somebody. This is your capacity. This is the capacity of some of the people around you. If I'm steady trying to do this, I'm gonna find myself frustrated because I'm expecting the people around me who don't have the capacity, who don't have the they're not equipped to do it. The people around me who don't know what they're doing, or the people around me that's just not their thing. I'm going to keep getting frustrated because I'm expecting this little bottle to fill up all of this. Mm-hmm. The problem is that we don't know to fill ourselves up to here, so that when they come around, then I can only deal with you right here. I'm dealing with you at your capacity, not at my expectations, not at what I think you should be doing for me, not at how I think we should be interacting. I'm dealing with you at the capacity that you have. So now there's no mix up. There's no, I'm not mixing anything up. I'm not misunderstanding anything because I understand you got 8 ounces. Right. So now I'm not smothering you with my 24, trying to put 24 ounces in an 8-ounce cup. I ain't smothering you now. And then I'm not feeling empty because you don't have the capacity to fill me up. So certain people have different roles in your life. And when you start to know who you are, then you can start to maybe discern, right? That emotional intelligence will give you discernment. Now you're able to discern certain people in your life, like, oh, baby, you got 12 ounces. So I can deal with you at 12 ounces. Oh, you got 8 ounces. I could deal with you at 8. But now I'm not giving all of myself. I'm only giving you what you have capacity for.
Mm-hmm.
I'm giving you what you show me you have capacity for. I'm not extending myself anymore.
Right.
I'm not extending myself beyond what the capacity is. Unless Holy Spirit tell me to. Other than that, I ain't doing all that.
Right.
If you extend yourself past their capacity, you'll waste what you're pouring out.
Bam.
You won't be able to contain it. So
Well, it's just like what Paul said. Paul said some people just still on milk.
Yeah.
Paul said some people just still on milk.
Yeah. And that's the importance of having a coach. It's like the young lady keeps saying, she said it's hard. The thing is, when you choose yourself, it's not easy. It's really hard. It's really hard. And so I always use this scenario. I played college basketball. It don't matter if you play the sport. You can be so good. You can be talented. But when it's game time, if you don't have a coach present, they're not going to let you play. Okay, you will have to forfeit the game unless a coach is actually present. It's the same thing with our life. Every aspect of our life, we actually do need a coach. What happens is when we say choose you, we're not saying, okay, you're going to do it exactly how you don't know. You don't know how to get yourself to the next level. If you did, you would already be there. You don't know what it's going to take to get you to get out of your own way. If you did, you would already done it. But what happens is you got to allow yourself to be coachable. And if you're coachable, what'll happen, you will shift faster. Coaches turn around. Coaches will turn your decades into days, decades into months. You can take 10 years to do something, or you can just do it suddenly if you're coachable. And so if you're saying, I need to change my life, I need to choose me, but you're overthinking it, and you're overthinking it because you're trying to do something that you don't have the capacity of doing. We have to understand that having a coach is bigger than the coaching industry that you see. We see a saturated industry, but coaches have been around before it's been popping on social media. Coaches have been around since the beginning. A coach is a necessity. It's a need. He or she is a need for your life. If you want better health, get a coach. If you want to change the way you live, get a coach. You need a coach. If you want a spiritual life, you want your spiritual walk with God to increase, get a coach. That coach may be your pastor, but you still need a coach. You need a coach. And the thing is, if you're serious about choosing yourself, if you're serious about going to the next level, if you're serious about winning, then all you're really saying is, I need a coach. When you have a conversation with God and you're like, God, send me help, you're saying, send me a coach. When you're saying, God, I'm ready to change my life, you're saying, send me a coach. That's what you're really saying. Now, this is the thing that most people miss. Okay, you got in your mind, okay, a coach is coming. These coaches are coming and they coming with a price. Well, can I tell you something? King Solomon was the wisest of them all. And every time he dropped wisdom, I promise you, he never dropped wisdom for free. Wisdom was a gift. God gifted him with wisdom and people paid for it. They sold into it. So that you got to say to yourself, okay, you can't be willing to get this for free. Why? Because guess what? If it was free, you would have changed already, right?
Yeah.
No. You're not going to change, because if it was free, you would have overlooked it, because you pay for what you want. That's what you do. When you go in the store, you're not looking to buy any of those things in that store for free. You're looking to pay. You're expecting to pay. You're expecting to pull your credit card out, your debit card out, cash out. You're not going into nobody's store expecting them to just give it to you. And guess what? Wisdom is more valuable than all those things in the store. You changing your life is more valuable than you going into Kroger's, you going into Walmart, you going into Target. Guess what? You transforming your life is more valuable. That's why if you got a problem sowing, if you got a problem investing, the problem is not the sowing or the investment. The problem is you got a problem with growing. You have a problem with growing. And that's something you really got to say, man, I don't have a problem wasting. I have a problem growing. Because I can buy all the clothes I want to buy. I can buy all the shoes I want to buy. I can go to the club. I can do all those things. I can go to concerts. I can make that happen. But what I can't make happen is what I need to make happen. And that's for me to transform. And I'm here today to tell y'all tonight that guess what? Your missing puzzle is a coach. And it's not cliche. It's the truth. If you are coachable, and this is the thing I want you to understand. Every coach is not a winning coach. Okay? I don't know about you, but if you ever play sports, just because they let you in the game because you had a coach, don't necessarily mean you were coached to win. But there are certain coaches that know how to win. And when you find that coach that know how to win, it's going to hurt. It's going to hurt. It's not going to be easy. It's going to hurt. But it's going to be a hurt that you're going to celebrate in the end because you finally won. You finally won. I don't want to be coached to lose. I'm just saying. I don't want to be on a losing team. I need a coach that can allow me to win. And this is the thing. It's all about coachability. If you say to yourself right now, tonight, I'm ready to be coachable, and you present yourself to a coach, because this is the thing I want you to understand. You're not hiring the coach. The coach is recruiting you. Coaches recruit. That's what they do. They recruit. Coaches scout, right? So where you think you're the one choosing the coach actually has to choose you, because a great coach is only looking for results. We need to produce results. That means we want to see you transform. We don't want your money. Your money is a part of the process so that you can actually do what we tell you to do. Because our time is so valuable. It's so valuable that we're going to pour everything we got inside of you so you can get what you desire for you. That's why you're paying for it, because our time is valuable. We understand our value. But at the end of the day, we have to choose you as the coach. And if we decide to choose you, that means you have what it takes to win. And it's time for you to make up in your mind tonight that you really want to choose you. I'm not talking about with your mouth, because anybody can say, oh yeah, I'm ready. No. I mean, really, you ready that in a month, you don't look the same.
Yes.
In 2 months, you don't look the same. In 3 months, you don't look the same. We're not talking about 10 years from now. No, we're talking about right now. If you are coachable, tomorrow you will look different. You got to ask yourself, are you really ready for that? And if you're ready for that, then you're ready for one of us as your coach. Are you getting real? You're ready for one of us as your coach. Because all of us, we like Coach Raymond say, we game changers, right?
Yeah.
We have what you need. You heard something tonight, or whether you're watching the replay, and you heard one of our voices, if not all of our voices. And I can guarantee you this, all of us, even though we all are coaches, we all specialize what we specialize. And if you're really, really ready to change and transform and receive all that you're supposed to receive, then what you need is a coach. And I pass the mic.
But no, that is so right, because, and they got to be ready, and you got to put the work in. Don't go to a coach. Don't go to a coach and you're not ready to put the work in. If you go to a coach, be ready to put the work in. And don't tell that coach, this is not me. Whatever that coach give you, do whatever that coach give you, and you're going to get results. You're going to get results of what they give you.
Coaches can see your form. You can't see your form and what you're doing, but the coach can say, if you tweak this a little bit, spread your fingers a little more, put more rotation on the ball. They can see the little things that you just need to adjust in order to get you where you need to be. You think you got it. But if you would look in the mirror, or if you would listen to the coach, you could see that your form may not be much, but maybe a little off. And then the coach will give you what you need, and proper adjustments to get you spot on to be able to do what you need to do.
Mm-hmm. I'll even go piggybacking off of what y'all just said. I've been working out a lot lately, and I've had to learn that sometimes, I'm trying to do a lateral pull down, and if my posture wasn't right, but it took someone who had been in the gym, who knows what to do. They walked over to me, they saw my posture, they corrected it, and I felt that burn, baby. And I was like, oh, okay, this is how we're supposed to do this. But it took someone who did not know what I didn't know. I could get in the gym and go out and do the things that I'm thinking I'm supposed to do. And I was doing that for a second until what? I got somebody to help me along the journey. And so now I'm getting the results that I want to get. I'm getting the results that they say I can get because they know what to do. I don't. They do. They specialize in this. They know how to help me. They pour into me in a way that is meaningful for a goal that I set for myself. See, the problem is we know where we want to go, but we don't know the how. Your coach is your how.
That's good.
You can know your what all day long, but your coach is going to give you your how. They're going to give you the know-how to change the system in your thinking, the way you think, how you approach it, make those small minor adjustments like tilting your pelvis on certain machines. All of these things, they're going to give you the how.
Mm-hmm.
The how. We focus on content all day long. We scroll and fear, but we don't always understand the context. Your coach is going to help you put it in the proper context so that you can accelerate to where you're supposed to be.
And know that the how is uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times we get in that gym and we exercise to make ourselves feel comfortable.
I can't walk now.
I have a workout partner that when we first started out, he used to frustrate me because everything he did was for his comfort. And I used to tell him, whatever results you want, you're not going to get it in your comfort zone. That's why we're here in the first place. So when he would spot me how he wanted to be spotted. So like he would see me in a pinch and he would hurry up and grab the weight. And I was like, no, don't touch it until I tell you to touch it, because I need to push out of this lock, because if I don't push out of this lock, I'll never get strong.
Right.
So I had to coach him in the gym on how to do it, because you're hurry up and grabbing it because you think I'm in trouble because you will want me to do that for you, but I'm not going to do that for you. I'm going to tell you to push. And I would tell him, I know when I need to grab the bar. I just need you to do the exercise when you push. I'll know when it's time for me to grab the bar because I can see it in your lock. I can see the shaking. But as long as I don't touch it, you push. I'm not going to let the weight fall on you. I'm not going to let you go down, but I need you to push past your normal limitations, because one thing I used to hate for him to say is I can't do it. I said, how do you know you never tried? That irritates me to no end when somebody says I can't, they haven't even took steps forward. So I told him this. So I said, you used to frustrate me a whole lot because I'm putting the weight on. Oh, I can't do that. How do you know you can't do it? I'm watching what you're doing now. You're doing it with ease. Now it's time to elevate. Now it's time to be stronger. Now it's time to put a little more weight on it. I'm standing here. I'm coaching you along the way. I'm telling you what you need to do. I'm not going to let it hurt you. I'm not going to let you go out like that. So trust. And that's another thing. You have to trust your coach.
Yeah.
You have to trust the coach that they're not going to steer you wrong and they're not going to hurt you, that they're going to do everything that is necessary to get you to that next level. And as long as you can trust them and do what is told of you, expected of you, then you're going to get stronger. You're going to grow. You're going to see the results that you want to see.
Yeah, definitely. Even today, my fitness coach, we worked out outside for like 30 minutes. And then the last 30 minutes, I had to do 5 sets of squats, but with heavy weights, like the most the most paid. But this is the thing. So he wasn't there for the last part. So basically, this is the thing with coaching. At first, okay, you're there with me the entire process, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I gotta want it bad enough for me, because in my head, I could, okay, so you want me to do this by myself? I could have cheated, but I would have only been cheating on myself. Like I would have only been failing myself. And so when I got ready to do it, of course, did not want to do it, right? Because I was like 5 sets, 5, right? And so I knew that if I did it a certain way, I would half do it. So I decided to do it where you sit down on the bench and get back up, right? Because I knew if I'm gonna do this, I need to do this right. Because there's no other purpose of me doing this unless I do it right. And it hurt. And it took me a long time to do it right. Those 5 sets probably took me 35 minutes, 45 minutes, because I had to continuously speak to my mind and girl, don't you dare give up. Don't you dare. What is the goal? What did you say? I had to get out of my way. And I want y'all to understand that during this process, you're going to have moments where your mind start playing tricks on you. Your mind try to get you back to where you were, but you got to constantly begin to, okay, if my coach was here, what would I do, right? I need to do it as if my coach is present. You know, a lot of times we say, God sit high, look low, but we don't be acting like that. We don't act sit high and look low. We don't do that. And same thing with your process and your growth. And you really got to understand that because it's painful. Because I just went to another level, and the more the higher the level it gets, it's worse. It don't get better. It's worse. But the results are amazing, y'all. Amazing.
Yes. Tamara, you know something? If you hadn't done it, he would have noticed.
I believe you. Oh, I know he would have.
He would have noticed because there's a certain look, there's a certain walk, there's a certain type of pain that comes with what he told you to do. And so when he sees you tomorrow or the day after and you walking good, he knows you didn't complete that exercise the way you were supposed to do it, because that exercise is going to bring on a different level of pain because it's something you aren't used to doing. You know, it's something you're not used to doing. So it brings on a different level of pain, a different level of discomfort, and it shows. You know, when I go up in squats, you know, the next 3 days you're going to know that I've been squatting. So you're going to know it. I'm going to get out the car slow. I'm going to get up off the couch slow, and I'm going to have to walk that off the rest of the week. But when you fudge your exercises, when you fudge anything that you're instructed to do, it's going to be noticeable because there are certain looks that come with which you're supposed to be doing the correct way.
Yeah.
I love it. This is good. Okay, you guys. So make sure you share the broadcast, tag 4 people if you haven't. What we're going to do is pass the mic. We're going to start with Prophetic Coach TK. Introduce yourself. Let them know what you have coming up. Then we're going to go to Coach Raymond Poole. You can introduce yourself, tell them what you have coming up. And then Coach Rashin Akins, introduce yourself and then let them know what you have coming up and also how they can find you.
Okay. Hey, y'all. Hey, again, it is your girl, Coach TK. I am a prophetic breakthrough strategist. I am the founder and owner of Minding My Vision, where we bridge the gap between biblical principles and counseling theories to bring transformation, real change, and accelerated growth. Okay. What I have coming up is I have some Black Friday specials for some of the books that I have. You can find those at my website, www.mindingmyvisionllc.com. It's 3 specific books. It's one called Let Her Grow, which talks about the different templates for healing. Then the Let This Mind, which actually gives a system of thinking to help you shift your mindset. And then Prophetic Acts. So now that I've dealt with my emotional barriers, now I've understood how to shift my mindset with God. Now I have to move with God. And so if you get these 3 books together, you're going to get a package to really help you accelerate and move in 2025 like you've never moved before. Okay. I also have Open Your Ear to God coming up, which is prophetic mentorship and coaching, where in this specific group, we will be coming together. I have a select room. I think it's 10, 15, between 10 to 15 women. I will be working closely with, where we will be learning how to do some things that the Lord has instructed me to do with prophetic journaling, hearing from God, moving in certain areas. We'll be working really closely through that book, with that book, Prophetic Acts. I also have a Prophetic Acts challenge coming up in January as well. So I got a lot of stuff going on. You can find out more of this information at my website, www.mindingmyvisionllc.com, and also on my Facebook, which is right there on the screen. Right on time, Coach. See, they be anticipating, they be knowing. She's my coach, right? She coaches me. All right, I'm done.
Yes, hello. Once again, I'm the founder and owner of Raymond Poole Coaching and Consulting, where we change your environment from one environment to another environment. What we have coming up, I also certify coaches, and we have classes we're gonna do a Black Friday special. So if you are interested in being a coach, you can contact me. You can reach me on all social media platforms, or you can give me a call, 404-354-9397. I tell you, I also have an inner circle, which is game changers. We change the game. We change the game of your life. We change the game of how you think. We change the game of how you feel. We change the game of how you walk through all aspects of life, ministry, whatever it is. We change the game. 2025, we game changers. We going to the next place in your life.
All right, I'm Rasheen T. Akins. I'm the founder of MVP, Men with Vision and Purpose, and we're here to help men, young men, old men, middle-aged men to be productive people, productive leaders in today's society. What I have coming up is going to be a group, a Facebook group called MVP Group, which is a safe space for men to come and we can just chop it up, vent, and bounce ideas off of each other to be able to help each other grow, because I feel like we can't do it all by ourselves. No one person can do everything. Also, my information is, my phone number is 478-919-4128. You'll find me on Facebook under Rasheen T. Akins. You see my name spelled down there just like that. Just add a middle initial T period and Akins, and I'll pop right up. Instagram, I'm known as Rasheen _the_barber, Rasheen the Barber. Also, I have this book I was talking about at the beginning called The King Inside the Peasant. They are on sale right now. If you would like to purchase one, they are $15 plus shipping. So I think roughly around $17.50, 17 and a half. So if you want to get a copy, reach out to me and I'll be happy to get one to you. And also my email is Rasheen.Akins, RASHIN.AKINS @MVPclub.me. So those are the ways that you can contact me if you would like to. And I enjoyed myself on here tonight, and you all be blessed.
Awesome. So you all, I'm Coach Tamara Lachey. I'm the founder and owner of Increase Global Enterprises, where we bring business to reality through graphic design, brand strategy and development, business strategy and development, coaching, and client representation. What I have coming up is actually this week, the Shift to Abundance Mindset Shift. It's going to be 3 days. If you're watching the live or the replay, all you have to do is sow a seed. If Sylvia's still on here, if you could just put the Cash App in the chat. All you got to do is sow the seed. The proceeds are going to our ministry, Increase Nation United. And so during these 3 days, I'm going to actually help your mindset shift so you can tap into the abundance that God has mandated for your life. When it comes to abundance, it's a process. It's like climbing up a mountain. So you're not going to get all of it at one time. But during these 3 days, I'm going to help you really, really shift your mind, shift your mindset, because it's all about mind. It's all about your mindset, how you think. The word of the Lord says, so as a man thinketh, so is he. And so you have to really understand that. And then also, I'm excited to announce that the first segment of Become a Six-Figure Coach, which is something we added, is gaining a six-figure mindset. That's going to be starting in January, gaining a six-figure mindset. So we're dealing strictly with the mind to help you gain the six figures that God has for you. In our Veterans Day sale, you can just do a deposit of $200 to secure your seat. And so if you're saying to yourself, you believe that there is a six-figure writer in you, you believe that you're supposed to make six figures, multiple six figures, you do not want to miss gaining a six-figure mindset. because we really want to tear down some walls and some boundaries that's in your mind that's hindering you from getting to the promise that God has. Because if you believe that you're supposed to make 6 figures, I can guarantee you this. Your mind is the only reason you have not tapped in. Not your skills, not your gifts, your mind. It's all about the mind. And so I'm excited about that. Thank you so much, Sylvia, for assisting. All right, you guys, Decade of the Coaches. If you are saying to yourself, you want to become a part of the Decade of the Coaches, this is where coaches get together and entrepreneurs, and we coach every other Monday night. And really just get insight and things of that nature. To join the Decade of the Coaches, it is $49 a month. But for Black Friday, you can get your first month for just $29. If you are interested, all you have to do is go to our page, Increase Global Enterprises, and DM us, and we will definitely get back with you. And then follow us on social media under the Decade of the Coaches. You all choose you. Whatever you do, choose you. God in this season to choose you. Okay. I know it's gonna feel uncomfortable, but choose you. All right. Choose you and win. You all, until next time, meet us next week in the Zoom room next Monday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. We would love to see you there. You all, we are the Decade of the Coaches. Y'all have a blessed and successful night.